the business requirement is that we receive the product and we don't carry out any processing on that product. And if we happen to get a requirement or a outbound delivery, so instead of moving it to the product to the inbound area in the destination storage type, we will pick directly against the outbound delivery and will ship it out. So the prerequisite that it should not go through any quality inspection process. There should not be any further processing. The inbound delivery should be received in the warehouse, and the warehouse task and the order which are created should have been assigned to a queue. On the inbound, in the outbound side, it should the product which you're trying to cross dock, it should not violate the FIFO principle. In my example, there is no specific batch selection criteria. And while processing it, I've noticed that if I'm creating a HU warehouse task, system doesn't consider the handling unit for the cross-docking process. So in this example, we have a product warehouse task, which is let me check the existing open warehouse task for this inbound delivery. If we already have an open warehouse task, product warehouse task for the inbound delivery, we'll create. So we already have the open warehouse task for the inbound delivery. There are two line items in this inbound delivery, and there are two batches for the same material. So we can see that the system right now has proposed the destination storage type based on the put away strategy, which is this one. And now we will create the warehouse task for picking activity. Now we have the same material in this outbound delivery for 10 and 5 quantity. Now we will check the status of the warehouse order. So system has cross-docked the inbound delivery we were looking at earlier, and we can find the information and the linkage over here. So one thing, if you notice here, that system has just cross-docked one of the line item, not both. So during the testing, what I've noticed is that system is only considering the one of the line item for cross-docking, even though both the materials are there. Both are same materials in the line items in the inbound delivery, but system only cross-docks one of them during the processing, and the other one is ignored. So you can see that it is the same inbound delivery line item which has been crossed off. And if you look at the inbound delivery status, so this is the warehouse order. This is before the cross docking. As you can see, the destination bin, and now we'll execute and see what is the current status. So system has cancelled one of the line item, right? This is the 3 quantity which is cross docked against this outbound delivery, right? 2, and the other quantity was 1. This is the source handling unit, which is mentioned, which was the same one which we saw earlier. Now, if we look at the configuration, so let's go back once to the inbound delivery. So in this example, system has just taken the first line item uh, for the cross docking, and it has ignored the second one. even though the outbound delivery requires this quantity as well, and it is the same material. It's just that the batch is different, but in my outbound delivery, there is no batch selection criteria. So let's go back to the outbound delivery. In essence, as long as your inbound delivery is already, having the status of good receipt, and the warehouse tasks are created for with the queue, system will consider it as long as there are no batch specific requirement or the FIFO rules are not violated, and the uh, yeah, so and the inbound delivery is not already in the process in terms of put away, and the warehouse task or the warehouse order status is not coming as in process. So let's try to take a look at the cross dock warehouse task log. So we'll take a look at the configuration and then we'll jump right back to it. So we'll take a look at this now. So this is one of the configuration which is needed. So for my warehouse, so these are the product group type. One is for inbound, one is for the other one is for the outbound process. Apart from that, once you have defined this, it needs to be assigned to the material master, so that system understands which material should go through the cross-docking process, and there are two bodies which we need to implement in the system. These are by default active. In case it is not, then it should be activated. And the prerequisites have to be followed, then only system will cross-dock the materials or the line items. So if we look at it, it's already active in my system. So this is the warehouse task log. So you can see that in the log system has explicitly called out that the item has been cross docked, and this was the inbound delivery warehouse task which was cancelled, and since it was linked to the outbound delivery. Now in terms of configuration, apart from this, so that system is able to find the stock against the outbound delivery, which is in the put away process. We should ensure that the stock removal strategy has the inbound area listed in it, which is your staging area. So we'll check the stock removal strategy or the stock removal rule here. Now for the warehouse process type which I'm using is 2010, and just to ensure that even though you are adding the inbound area in the stock removal strategy search sequence, it shouldn't impact the other material which are not relevant for cross-dock, right? So in the material master, you will have the product master updated for the cross-docking product type group, and basis that system will decide which material should be considered to be picked from your staging areas or tour, and it should not impact the other materials. Because one important factor, if you notice here, is that in the inbound delivery, when you create the outbound delivery, the stock type which comes is F2. For the stock which is still in processing in the inbound area, the stock type is F1. So by default, system ignores any stock which is in the inbound area or the stock type is not matching. Only the product which are being cross-docked, for that system will consider the stock type F1 against F2, and it is not necessary that the stock type will always have to be F1 or F2. So uh, it's up to us to define which value should represent the stock type per availability group or per a storage location. Other than the cross-docking functionality, if we use a stock determination group, then also system starts to consider the stock type, different stock types, even though they belong to different availability group. But in this example, even though we have the door and staging area listed, system is not going to consider the stock under these for any other material, because if we would not activate the stock docking functionality and the material master is not updated accordingly. So this is one of the key important point here.